Hey, how you doing, everybody? I'm Andrew Small. Great for you to join me. Okay. So I'm calling this weekly stream. It's going to be called the Monday Snack. I've got a great show today with the most amazing, unbelievable percussionist on the planet, Mr. Karl Vanden Bossche. We spoke a couple of days ago. So I am gonna let you guys in on what he had to say. Check this out. My first guest for the first ever inaugural show, the one and only Karl Vanden Bossche, percussionist to the stars. What you saying, Karl? What's going on? What's going on?
You know, as you know, with this virus, it's trying to stay, trying to keep it together.
Well, I'm glad. You know what? I'm glad you decided to be my guinea pig, right? So we're gonna have a chat. You are percussionist to the stars, right? You are the percussionist to the stars. So you work with the likes of Sade, with Blur, Gorillaz, Mark Ronson, David Sanborn. We're gonna talk about all of that. I wanted to these chats, right? I think I want these chats to be about how you guys approach stuff, because obviously, when we're gigging together, when you and I are gigging together, we have a laugh. We do what we do. You know, we have conversations, but I'd never really get inside your head in terms of what your approach to things is, right? So you turn up here, and I throw music at you, and you crush it. So we're gonna watch a clip, right? We're gonna watch a clip,
All right.
and then we're gonna talk about it, because this was without doubt, right, one of my favorite sessions. This is one of my favorite sessions, right, of all time. Like, I'm talking of all time. One of my favorite. So check this, right? Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, right? There we go. There we go. Check this out. Woo! That feels very vibey, you know.
You good with that?
Yeah, I like that. That's really nice.
3, 4.
Ba ba da ba ba da ba 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 da.
You're not easy, Andrew, man. Wow, man.
Sorry,
You're
man.
killing me, man.
Oh yeah. I love this pocket, you know, it's really nice.
Wicked.
Ba-ba-da. That's what I did. And it was nice.
Listen, I'm going to email Luke. Luke, I'm with you, man. Yeah, man's killing me up in it. Good.
Yeah, it's quite tasty, that. Yeah.
Listen, just put some potatoes around me, man.
Sorry?
I'm roasting up. You give me a roast today.
This is gonna be amazing.
Yeah, if we can bloody get it right quicker than that.
So this one is 3, 4, 1. Gada ga ga gada ga 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 gada gada ga. Woo!
I'm suffering now. I'm still suffering now.
Right. So
I'm shivering. That was like 2 years ago, and I'm still shivering now.
look, That was right one of my, one of my favorite sessions, right? Even every time I watch that back, right, I'm laughing. It's so funny. It was so, but it was so cool. So what I'm saying, right? You guys walk in and you crush it. You guys walk in and you crush it. And so this is the first thing I'm going to ask you. I notice you always find the right thing to play. You always find the holes in a groove. You always find the pocket. The conga patterns are always, they always just seem to fit like a glove. And what I want to know, what your thinking is behind that whole approach. How do you come up with the parts? How do you know, what's the deal? What's the deal?
It literally depends. Sometimes as soon as you walk into a studio or a session, you can get a vibe from the producer or the person's doing it, as well as the music. Even if you just have a little chat with the person about the music, as well as about the person, you get comfortable, everyone's have a little joke. And generally, even when I'm setting up, and sometimes when I'm setting up, I'll tell the person to play the music to me. So as I'm setting up and I'm hearing the music, ideas are flinging in my head. And generally, if it's a really busy tune, I might play less or almost play what the drummer's playing. It literally, it's so many different approaches. It's literally, and the thing is, there's a lot happening on the track as it is. How do I fit in with not overpowering the track, but still be, and it literally, and the experience of doing things, thinking, yeah, loads of notes. Yeah, no, it doesn't work. And because of you, as I said, because of the producer, I'll say, maybe let's try a few different patterns. And I'm guaranteed, well, on average, if I come up with 4, one of them will work for me, for you, and for the track.
But, and I'm not yanking your chain because you're here, right? But I'm saying 9 times, I'd say 9.999 times out of 10, you listen to something, and the first thing you play is the thing. The first thing you play, I'm like, yeah, we're there. Yeah, nice.
I really like to be the last on the session because I'm like, okay, where's the space? Where's the hole? What's the bass player? What's the guitar? What's the vocalist doing? Everything comes into context, so I don't crowd or get in the way. Because there's a lot going on. As I said, it's literally, the cake is nice. You know what? But I want to put some icing on it. I don't want to ruin the cake. I want to help the cake taste even better.
Right. So what's funny is you saying you like to be last on the track. So and all the guys that kind of worked on my stuff and guys and girls that have kind of been here, I've kind of got a random way of working where I don't know what's going to be. Yeah. So you've walked in to sometimes bass, drums, keys.
Yeah.
There's no head, there's no melody, there's no horn section, there's no strings. Sometimes there's no guitar in it yet. I don't even know I don't, if it's a vocal track. If I've said it's going to be a vocal track, I haven't even written the song yet. And I'll say, oh yeah, Carl, this is going to be, I don't know, this is the middle 8 or this is going to be the thing. And it's like, I don't know if you remember, there's a tune on the new record, the ballad. You came in and you just dropped this thing. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Because it felt great there, but even after it's not as if what the percussion did influenced what I was going to write, but it's almost as if the percussion on that track just made itself, what's the word I'm looking for? Malleable. It made itself basically perfect for any possible permutation of what I could have put on it. I know I've been talking about congas a lot, congas and bongos a lot, right? Because the patterns that you seem to come up with seem to be not obvious. That, I never hear that. I very, very rarely hear you play that. Yeah. It's almost like you're taking bits of the groove and working with it, which I always find slot. Like I said already, it slots really, really well. But when I ask you to replicate, obviously you come over. We're tracking, we're layering stuff. I asked you to replicate parts, and I'm going to play another clip because this is a good example, right? I have to replicate parts.
Yeah.
And again, the menu, the different ingredients of the menu that you create ends up being this really, really cool soundscape. So check this thing out, right? So I'm gonna play this. Here we go. Check this.
As you said, you want the kitchen sink, bruh.
I've got to go proper kitchen sink. That is a great example for me, right? Of you creating this, like I said, this menu, this smorgasbord, this constant thing. And there are two things of all the gigs we do together, right? All the playing we've done together. There are two things that always blow me away. The way you play the shekere. Oh my days. The way you play the shekere and the way you play a tambourine. The tambourine has got the pocket of doom. What's that about?
I'll go with the tambourine first. For me, the tambourine is almost the hi-hat. You can't have a percussion outfit without, you got like a drum set, you have to have the hi-hat, literally 90% of the time. Tambourine for me is almost could be, it's part of, I can't leave the house without it. And I've played it so many times through so many different kinds of music. So sometimes I might play it full on. Sometimes I might just do a chick. Sometimes I might go chicky chicky chick. It doesn't, and I take this as every instrument has a space vibe about it. Every instrument has a pocket vibe about it. It depends on how you adapt it to the tune. And generally the tune kind of tells you where to put things. Maybe the tambourine on the one, or on the two, one, ching. It's again, after this experience and the music I grew up with.
Right, and that was what was that? What's the music you grew up with? Talk about that.
When I grew up, my brothers were listening to reggae and soul, both pocket situations. On the reggae stuff, there's a lot of space with the tambourine. On the soul and funk stuff, same again, it was played constantly and broken up. So I've kind of brought all those elements into my sessions. And sometimes I might think, even if it's not a reggae track, you might just do kitching and it worked. Then sometimes in certain sections, a full tambourine just to lift the chorus works. Going to the shekere, which took me a while to learn. I remember I was doing a Sade gig, met some guys in LA. They exposed me to a shekere, and I'm like, oh, this is me thinking, yeah, man, I can play shekere. Yeah, man, I'm good at this. Man was like, and I was playing it. I remember the man went, yeah, no, can't sit down. This is how you play it, right? I went, oh, okay, yeah. And from that day onwards, I was just watching videos, listening to certain guys, watching them. One of my favorite percussionists, Don Elias, used to watch him play certain stuff. I'm like, okay. Oh, you don't have to play it full on all the time. You can just go kitch it. Oh, okay. Oh, you can play it full on. So it's another, and in certain sections, as you can hear, it just lifts.
Yeah.
Whole track. And when I am layering,
yeah,
you don't have to do everything. It's kind of a linear vibe.
Right.
Here. And when you put it all together, it all works out.
You know what? Working with Karl, right? Working with Karl is nuts. The guy's amazing. He's amazing. And the whole point of doing these chats, and I should say hello to some folks actually, shouldn't I? So, Adam, top man, good to see you. Rich, Ed, Stefan, Dave, Mr. Turner. Wonderful. Thanks, oh, Lee as well. Thanks for checking in. Thanks, folks. Anyway, so like I was saying, right, I'm sat here in my studio and I'm used to there always being people here. You know, normally 2 days won't pass without stuff going on. And with the rubbish COVID-19 situation we find ourselves in, it's weird the place just being, you know, as quiet, just me here on my lonesome, right? So that's the whole point of doing this stream. I'll be chatting with folks that would basically usually be here. So Karl, being as amazing as he is, right? That bit where I was talking about him playing shekere and tambourine, the guy is able to replicate this stuff, right? Live. I'm going to play you a really short clip showing you the same tune we just recorded, and the guy is like some kind of octopus comedian dude, kind of, you know, just check it out. You'll see what I mean. Here we go. So you see what I mean? The guy is like an octopus. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. No, good to see you as well, mate. Thanks for checking in. Wonderful, wonderful. Right, so Karl and I normally have a laugh, and I thought I'd throw a really stupid little mini quiz at him. So the musos among you will kind of get this. I'm calling it the Impossible Quiz. Check this out. Here we go. This is what I'm going to call the Impossible Choice Pop Quiz, right? You only have one choice. You have to make a choice. Yeah? You have to make a choice. Yeah, and you can't think too long, right? You ready? So first up. Paulina da Costa or Giovanni Hidalgo?
Paulina da Costa.
Okay. Nate Smith or Adam Deitch?
Adam Deitch.
Okay. Vinnie Colaiuta or Chris Coleman?
Vinny.
Okay. Jeff Porcaro, Jar Robinson?
Jar Robinson.
Jaco Pastorius, Marcus Miller?
Pastorius.
Okay, right. You were very certain about all of those.
Yep.
I love the scream. The scream's very funny. Andy Tolman, good to see you, man. All right. So the next section of our chat, right? We kind of we spoke a lot about general work ethic, and the guy Karl's he's a real practicer, and he sort of makes me feel very insecure, because I walk in the room and he's like, you know, he's working out and we'll be on a gig together and he just makes me look bad. So this is where we kind of dealt with that whole thing about him being this kind of obsessive practice guy. Here we go. On another point, right? You seem to love practicing, right?
Oh,
Whenever we're together on a gig, I come away and I'm just like, I get home and I'm like, I need to break out the pad, right? So where does that drive? Because you've got really great time, which I guess as rhythm section players is kind of important. It's kind of part of the job description, right? But you've got really, really great time. And when, we'll spend sound checks and, before show and we got pads out and we just, but it seems to be part of your makeup. Where does that start? Where did that come from?
I think that comes from, I came into music late. Didn't know, I started playing around 13, 14, 15. No one told me anything about click practice. I just started listening to music, started practicing. But as I was getting older, I was watching the likes of yourself, on all different kinds of drummers, just sitting with pads. I'm like, oh, what are they doing? And as it went on, every drummer was doing it. Everyone was like, oh, Karl, click. And I got exposed a couple of times where, as you know, you're in the studio, you do your part. Yeah, man, I'm wicked. And then the producer goes, can we just solo Karl, please? I'm like, really? Don't do that, please. When they solo me, I was like, oh, man, that doesn't sound, I'm not on it. So from early days when I was doing odd sessions and they did that, I'm like, you can hear the silence in the room is enough to go, what's wrong with my boy?
Right.
It's not on it.
You know what, that reminds me of that feeling, that similar feelings to me, actually. It reminds me of that whole mindset that says, I don't want someone to tell me what I have to fix. I want to hear what needs fixing and deal with it in the privacy of my own space, rather than someone go, hey, because that happened a few times. Obviously, you're thinking, I'm on it. Same.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, man's on the board like this, and
and
it's, you know what I'm saying?
From that moment, from a couple of times when someone soloed the button, and I'm like, man, wanted to just go to a hole. I'm like, and you could feel, even though I'm standing at the back of the room, even if man is not turning around, you could see the eyes around the back of the head and go, really? So from way back, I went, I don't want to be that guy that's dropping off.
Right.
From then on, it's practice. And as you know, even as we are in our big 50 or whatever, you never stop learning.
Yeah.
You get exposed to different kinds of music. And that's why I practice, because I practice even reggae, Latin, funk, different pockets, it's all different timing. So I practice the loose stuff, I practice the click, I practice the African stuff. It's all slightly different. Don't get me, the timing is there, so that's why I constantly practice.
Right, cool. I bet you get people asking all the time, what was it like working with Sade? I'm interested to find out what it was like working with Sanborn, because it was Chris Coleman, right?
Yep.
And I've got a proper man drum crush on Chris Coleman. Absolute monster. So when you're, obviously you belong in that company because you keep the gig, right? But when you're in that kind of company, what's it like? Who was on bass on that gig when you did it? Who was on bass?
A guy, Andre Berry.
Right.
Guy. The thing is, there's two bands. The one I first did it,
right.
It was when I first did it, it was Chris Coleman and Andre Berry on bass. Then when I did it another time, it was Gene Lake.
Ooh.
And Richie Patterson.
Wow.
Yeah, so, but it's almost like, I've got to almost, not exactly impress again. Okay, the first time the gig came, I didn't know Chris was doing it. Just getting the call, as I said, did my homework. Listen. They sent me the stuff. Listen. To this point, I went, I'm not going to write anything out. I had time, and I absolutely went over maybe went over each tune about 20 times, just to make sure.
Right.
Because when you walk in and you have no paper, first they're going to go, what's the deal? He hasn't. But when we do the rehearsal and they look at you, he didn't need any paper. He's done his homework. That means, okay,
Yeah.
he's done his homework. So you've impressed them and made them feel comfortable. And I remember a couple of times, it was one particular time, halfway through, we had a break, and I went up to David Sambo and I went, how are we doing? He went, cool. I went, okay, cool, fantastic. Carried on. At the end of rehearsal, I went up to him again. Mr. Sambo, how are we doing? He went, I haven't had to say anything to you. We're good. I went, okay, well, nice. But, okay, in rehearsals, I had no idea he was playing drums. No idea. So I'm just here setting up. As I'm setting up, I had the door go, clunk. I'm like, I looked up, kind of. mate. But the thing is, obviously, because of his playing, we are going to put them on a high. Of course, we're going to put them on a high pedestal. And the thing is, but the one great thing about hopefully, a lot of great musicians, he was the coolest brother.
Yeah. Nothing to prove. Nothing to prove.
As soon as he spoke to me, it was at a point of, if you're in the room,
you belong in the room. Yeah.
You belong in the room.
Yeah.
So it wasn't kind of like, oh, who's this percussionist? Or who's that kid? Everybody made me feel comfortable. Everyone feel comfortable. And it is about people, the skills, and how you go around playing. It's not just about, right, I'm going to play millions of notes. No, you have a chat, you hang out, get to know people, and it works. And then after the rehearsal, everybody was cool. It was no kind of, oh, I'm this or that. It was just, okay, the band's here, we're done.
Right.
Wicked.
Right.
Yeah, and it was amazing.
Yeah. Karl was hanging in some very sort of high circles there. Yeah, I'm a massive Chris Coleman fan. But like I said on the clip, if you're in the room, I guess you belong in the room. This other thing we did, right? What I thought I'd do also is show you another clip of Karl sort of in full flow, in action. Check this out. It's a really short clip. There we go. Yeah, that's the man. Very, very impressive. Very, very, very impressive. Cool. So we had a bit more fun. This next thing, right? I thought I'd quiz Karl on some of the sort of everyday, mundane things about touring life. So here was another really short pop quiz. So pop quiz, right? So this is obviously you've done a lot of touring, right? So this is just get an idea about where your head's at when you're on the road, yeah? Tour bus, top or bottom bunk?
Bottom.
Front or back lounge?
Front.
Okay. Right, per diems, right? Spend or save?
Spend.
Okay. Buffet breakfast or room service?
I do. Buffet breakfast.
Okay. Okay, after a gig, is it the hotel bar or is it straight to bed?
Hotel bar.
Okay. Flying, window or aisle?
Aisle.
Okay. And last one, right? Backstage pass, right? Around the neck or on the belt loop?
On the belt loop.
Okay, right. Okay, we get an idea. Yeah, I'm a belt loop man with the pass as well myself actually. There's plenty of folks here that have met Carl, and so he's kind of larger than life. He's kind of like a feel good kind of guy. And so in this last bit of the chat, right, we're just talking about the whole thing about creating great vibes when you're working. It's not just being about the playing, it's just important to have the whole package. It will make sense. So yeah, listening to this section, here we go. We'll wrap up with this, right? So generally, you are one of the most upbeat and positive musicians. People that not just people, right? I know, yeah. And I don't think that's an accident because it affects the work environment. It means the work environment is a nice place to be.
Yeah, it is.
Is that always your thing? You know something? I know for me, I've found ways of doing things based on being in situations that I didn't like the way things were done.
Totally agree.
Right? So I think, okay, I've been on the tour, I've been in the rehearsal, I've been in the session, and that was great, that was cool, or that's a bit weird, So this whole positivity, this whole thing, you're the kind of person, you're the musician that, it's always a vibe. It's always a vibe. The music feels great because there's a vibe. It's not just about, it's not just about the playing, right?
No.
So where again, and I've asked that question a lot, but where does that come from? Is it, I can't imagine it's just an accident.
It's come from, I'm blessed to be working. If you look at the list of, and I'm not saying I'm up here or down here, I'm just saying generally, I'm blessed to be working.
Yeah.
As well as in the gigs I've been called for, they could have called so many other different guys. There's that part of it. Two, I look at life as in, I could have been living in Syria. I could be living in some, I'm not saying Africa's a bad place, but they haven't got many choices. There's many, and as I look at it and see, I've got a house, a car, I'm one of the lucky 10%. And I've always been that positive because I'm like, wow, I could be living I could be living anywhere. I'm living in England, as you know. So all these factors come in, all these factors for me. So I'm like constantly blessed that I've got a studio, constantly blessed I've got a car, constantly blessed my kids are healthy. It all comes in. And that's why I'm up so happy. Every time someone sees me, goes, Carl, why are you so happy? There's many reasons. As in now, okay, we've got the virus that's happening now. Some people are sick, some people are dying. I'm still here, I'm still striving on. And I've got loads of great mates, including yourself. I'm a lucky man to have good friends, not just as an acquaintance. That helps.
Yeah.
And as you know, when someone calls me, depending on the gig is, I don't even ask about money. Who's on the gig? Andrew, Winston, I'm in. Because I know I'm going to have a laugh.
It's funny that, isn't it? It's kind of funny how that works. Because that's part of the thing why I feel so blessed in terms of the way the first album kind of came out, the way the second album shaped up, is because people like yourself, I'll give you a ring, you're like, yeah, I'm in, and I feel fortunate to be surrounded by people who, to me, they bring me up because I feel like, boy, I'm surrounded by musicians who are really, really pushing me. That's why I grabbed the pad when we're working, because I'm like, I walk in, you're like, and I'm like, what? I need to get on the pad. People notice positivity. I know I have to sort of concentrate myself because I can be quite intense about stuff and very focused and very. I have to remember, okay, we're meant to be having a good time rather than okay, it's got to be just like I can be like that quite a bit. So it's always been a pleasure. It's always been a pleasure working with you because it's always a laugh and it's always great music.
I have to take a leaf out of Joe Zawinul's book. And he said one time I think this is when Victor Bailey and Omar was in the band. They called him up, first rehearsal, literally went in, started playing. But I think they played for about an hour, hour and a half. He stopped the rehearsal. They went and had lunch for about 3 hours. Cracked 2 joke, have a laugh. Went back to play some music. The music was amazing. Because it was, okay, how you doing? I know what you like. You get to learn people's vibe, people's space, people's what makes them ticks. And then he said when he went back to do the rehearsal again, it was amazing. I think that about life, just having the right people around you does help. And yeah.
Cool. Well, Bosch, it's been amazing. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, man,
The
anytime.
inaugural Monday snack. A new album's on the way. so you'll be getting a call. You know, there was some stuff I wanted to play. There was some footage I wanted to play from the new sessions. So as I kind of put these clips together, because we had some more real, oh man, we had some more laughs with some of the new tracks. But like I said, thanks again, and keep safe. We will catch up soon.
Please. Wicked. Blessings to everybody. Wicked, Andrew. Fantastic, man. Wicked.
So that was my chat with Karl. Great guy, great player. Yeah, we were chatting for ages. I had to really chop that up. Thanks everyone for checking in. I'm going to be here every Monday at 6 o'clock. We've got someone great lined up next week. You know who you are. And yeah, what am I going to say? So you can catch this again on YouTube. I'm going to post it a bit later. And if you go to all the socials, Andrew Small Drums, that's Instagram, that's here on Facebook, and on my brain and YouTube. So hopefully I will see you all next week. Take care. Thanks again for checking in.